Bobbi the Killer Duck, in trouble hiring talent. Are you ready? Welcome to the Saymichael podcast. What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Saymichael podcast, one man's attempt at business, family, and comedy. You know who I am. I'm your host, Michael Aigbedion. And look, you know where we at? I don't know if you know where we at. We at the 70th episode. The 70th episode. Man, can you believe that? 70? I'm 70 already? Man, but you here, I'm here, and that feels good. It feels good to have people along your journey. I don't know. I want to hear about what's on your journey. I can tell you about what's on my journey because it's been crazy. Let me tell you what's been crazy. The rain is gone. So business has been booming. When I say business busting and booming right now because, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know, I got a lot of help, so it's not as bad as it used to be. But, man, when the rain is here, so good when it's gone. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Now I fly. The sunshiny day. That's how it feels when the sun come out. Cause man, when the weather's bad, I don't know. Every time the weather gets bad, every time it starts to rain, I'm like, man, why do I feel so down? Why do I feel so down? And then my mom or my wife are like, well, business, you know how it is. Like when it rains, in the type of business you're in or whatever. And I was like, that's not the reason. Maybe there's another reason. They're like, nah, we think that's the reason. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. And every time I'm like, I don't know why I feel like this. I just feel off. And then my mom, it's because it's rainy business, so see, rainy season for you. So when it rains, maybe because business has slowed down a little bit. I'm like, well, I don't know. I figured it out one day. And then when it gets sunny, I'm like, why I feel so good? Why I feel so great? Business is booming. Everybody moving. I got things to do. I don't know. But when it rains again, it'll be back. I'm like, why I feel so off? But I'm feeling good because look, the photographer came through today, grabbing content. Woo, feels good. I'm talking about it feels good. And look, it took a while to pick this guy. I'm talking about good. Let me tell you why. I'm a little upset with these little bougie business owners who are too good to do business the right way. And look, there's more than one right way. So I'm not talking about my way. I'm talking about the right way. And look, there's 4 people I was choosing from. I want to pick someone good for the marketing and branding. I said, I gotta be somebody good. I want the team to be right. Let me be slow to figure out who's the right person. And I asked around, people recommended people. And the first guy, he's already out. This first guy, you go to his page, a few videos, a few pictures, and then you saw the description of himself, film director. Wow. You call yourself a film director. And then you're like, okay, for me, you call yourself a film director if you primarily do films. But if you helped out on a film here and there, or like do really good, what do you call it, like videos for people, music videos, calling yourself a film director is a little OD. It's a little extra. It's a little much. Slow down, take a rest. Because film director already tells me where your head's at. I know where your head's at now. So he's already out. Don't want to deal with the ego. Not right now. And then there was a guy where his communication, poor. You're talking to him about the project. He's okay, that's cool. And basically, it's like you don't even know who you're talking to. He's like, do you even do videography or photography? Do you even like do this at all? Because you're not even asking any real questions. I'm just talking. I'm like, is there any questions? I need like anything like you need to ask me? No. I think I got it down. Did you even write this down? You know, didn't sound like you were driving. Too unprofessional. Third guy, he told me, let's meet at my office tomorrow. And I was like, okay, cool. A little pushy, but I was like, all right, cool. What time? He said 12 o'clock. All right, I'll be there. What's the address? Send me the address. 12 o'clock. I get there 11:55, and I said, hey, I'm already here, but you know, no rush. What's the suite number? Because I'm thinking, how you gonna send me an address with no suite number? So I'm over here looking around. Where's this guy at, right? And then he says, hey, I'll be 10 minutes late. I was like, okay, cool, but what's the suite number? He sent me the suite number. All right, 10 minutes turns to 30 minutes. And he rolls up late. And I'm already kind of like, man, if this guy doesn't apologize, if he doesn't apologize, I'm out of here. And then I see him, he said, hey, are you Michael? I said, yeah. As I'm anticipating an apology, he said, all right, come this way. I was like, let me not be rude. Let me just listen and just see what happens, because I don't want to start off on the wrong tip. He actually might be a genius. He might be a super cold, but you know, maybe I misjudged this whole situation. So walked into his office. He was like, you sit right there. And I was just like, oh, second red flag. Tell me what to do. You can sit right there. And it kind of sounded like he said, you sit right there. But I'm gonna give him the benefit that he said you can, like he gave me the option. So I sat there, I'm waiting. And he sits down. He's like, man, sorry, man. I got here a little delayed, last night, Des Bryant. Yeah, but last night we were at Des Bryant house, and he's doing some work for Des Bryant, and this morning we just left Des Bryant house. I'm just coming here from Des Bryant house, and Des Bryant, just getting some film for Des Bryant, and then I was like, bro, I don't care about Des Bryant. He's not even on my radar. This guy's talking about Des Bryant, name dropping left and right. I'm like, so? Care about no Des Bryant? If he said something like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, someone where I'm like, whoa, okay. How'd that go? But Des Bryant? What? Come on now. It's all good though. So I just said, let me just pace through this meeting. And he's just talking, going back and forth. And at one point, he was taking a lot of breaks. He seemed like he was just super tired. I was just like, man, this guy didn't come prepared, And content was okay. It wasn't anything where I was like, well, I'm impressed. But look, this last guy, fire. When I say everyone was over here, this is where I'm talking about the low scale. This last guy that I picked was up here. I'm talking about we's up here. He was up there, like high. Like his communication was A1. He was super organized. People always said, man, you got to work with this guy. You got to work. Everyone was just, saying so many positive things about this guy. And then we met, and then we broke down the vision, super interested, super ready, came prepared. And you could tell he's hungry. See, these bougie business owners who too cool, come on now. You got to be hungry. They'll get a measly product, gourmetify it, and just say, hey, it's gourmet now. This is the gourmet hot dog for $15. You got to do a little bit more than that. Stop being bougie with your business and turn up. Show your hunger. But this guy was hungry. Hired him. And then he came through today. And it was so good. Even one of my employees called me. He said, hey, Mike, I just had a real good time with that photographer you brought through. I was like, oh, man, he had a real good time with you. He said, it went really well. He said you were super thorough. It was a great time. And he's like, man, like, did you handpick me out of everybody? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, well, I just kind of picked randomly because there's certain spots I want him to see. But yeah, I handpicked him. I handpicked him, yeah. Oh, man. Wow. Man, Mike, I really genuinely appreciate the opportunity, Mike. I mean, wow. I mean, man, I'm here, Mike. I'm like, hey, look, just get prepared, bro, because it's about to get crazy. I said, you ready? He said, hey, Mike, I stay ready. I said, you stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. What's good? What's up? He said, yeah, I'm ready. I was like, okay, good. Well, I got to go because I got a lot of calls coming in. So peace out. Bye. Hung up. And yeah. So that was today. I'm excited about new changes of the marketing and branding and adding these new layers. These are things I've been preparing for. And when you start to see these things happen, it gets a little scary. You know, I remember when our first son, Idol, where, you know, Bly's like, hey, I think I'm pregnant, right? And then I'm like, man, I got 8 months to grind it out. And I'm just like, come on, 8 months. And then next you know, boom, he's already here. That's how it felt. Like you make these plans, you plan for it. You can't wait for it to happen. It seems so far away. And then next thing you know, it's yesterday. It's kind of crazy how time goes, you know? But, you know, time isn't going fast enough because we got Bobbi the killer duck back in the backyard. Bobbi the killer duck. If you don't remember, we had Ricky and Bobbi. Bobbi with an I, not with a Y, an I, because we realized that the brown mallard or the brown duck is actually a female duck. And that's the one that lays the eggs, covers the eggs, you know, incubates, does the whole thing. And yeah, we got more ducks in the backyard. And the reason I call it a killer duck is because, look, one time we had 2 sets of ducks. You know, the men's, they usually just leave, peace out anyways. They only stay there for a little bit. You know, I think they're just trying to make the female ducks feel good. But either way, one duck was under the bush. Another one's kind of plain sight. And we didn't really want ducks because the first time it was terrible. You know, like, you know, we couldn't turn on the pool pump. So therefore, like our pool turned green and, you know, like ducks were getting sucked up into the vacuum or, you know, it was just like, I mean, the pump or whatever, it was just terrible. So I'm just like, ugh, I don't want this again. It was the second time and there was 2 ducks. And then thing about it, they both had their ducklings around the same time, but one of them already left with all their ducklings, but they left one duckling behind. And the other one, the other mom, the actual Bobbi, you know, she had her ducklings and that little lost duckling tried to join their duckling. And man, Bobbi wasn't having it at all. It was like, hey, it will grab it with his beak, hey, and then they'll fling it, whap, fly it, and they'll come back. Little duckling will come back, and that's what the sound you're hearing right now is the duck attacking the little small duckling with his beak, just like, and then he'll bite it and then fling that thing. I said, man, violent. I'm just watching it. I'm like, man, this is wild. Man, nature's wild, man. That's what I thought. I said, man, nature is wild. But, and I was like, I don't want that killer back here anymore. We did everything. Like, was scared. Hey, get away. Hey, get away. Every time they see that duck, the boys in the backyard like, oh, mommy, daddy, the ducks are here. Now running in the backyard, hey, get away. Hey, get away. I start clapping. Hey, move, get away, move. You know, you'll fly away. Man, and now they're back again. And we kept trying to get them to fly away, They go away and they'll sneak back. They'll go away, they'll come back. I'm like, man, I can't stand it. And then next you know, we see 8 eggs in there. I'm like, oh, it's a third generation. The third generation of ducks. And I'm over it. Because these ducks, they said, oh, if you have ducks in your backyard, that means it's like, you're like, good luck. Good luck. It's good luck to have these wild ducks in the backyard going crazy, taking over your stuff in the summertime? Not for me. This is spring still, but you know, I'm just saying, it's not for me. And ducks here to stay though. So I don't know. We actually bought some hawks to kind of get like to scare it away. We got these little hawk figurines. We just knock them over. You know, I don't know if it's the wind or the ducks itself, but they weren't scared of that. I was like, someone told me these hawks were going to work. These fake hawks, they didn't look that good. They were from Amazon. They were about like $20 for 2. They weren't that good. And I was like, maybe the hawks need to look a little bit more realistic. I don't know. These kind of look a little, you know, a little plasticky, cheapish. You know, I'm like, if I was a duck, I would know this isn't a real hawk. It's not even moving. It doesn't even have feathers that like blow in the wind. You know, like if a duck saw this, it's gonna be like, come on now, y'all serious? Like, come on now. But you know, I'm still trying to push through because you know we're also having trouble hiring. I haven't started. Look, as business starts to boom, and as business starts to bust wide open, we're having trouble hiring. But look, that's all gonna change when that extra unemployment stop. You're gonna see people come out of their caves, ready to work, cause they money done dried up. That free bread done dried up. They're like, there's gonna be some people out there who forgot how to work. Have to, you know, figure out like YouTube videos on how to work again because we're having trouble at the school and with the car wash. I'm like, man, if you can't find no one to do the work, what you do then? Raise the price? Make it even harder for people to use your product? Take advantage of your service? But yeah, we're having trouble, you know, hiring talent, but we're getting creative with the recruitment. Might have to get a little aggressive. Might have to talk to a few people. You know, look, I'm not going to say we're going to do anything that lacks integrity, but look, whatever it takes, by any means necessary, we will get the people we need. They're going to be good. They're going to be trash. They're going to be good. It hurts, but guess what? Your boy's still flossing, though. Your boy's still flossing every day. And I hope you are, because look, we just left this party this weekend, and I've noticed that, I don't know if it was the mask or what's happening, but look, people aren't flossing. You can see heavy plaque within the middle of them, you know, like each tooth. And it's mostly on the bottom row. I get it. Y'all might have some beautiful top row teeth, but that bottom row, you got to take care of equally as good, because there's no use having dingy, you know, yellow bottom teeth and a white, beautiful top teeth row or smile or whatever. It's just not good. So I hope you're out there flossing, because I say flossing every time I go to the dentist. They're like, wow, you really take good care of your teeth. I'm like, well, because I eat a lot of candy. That's why. So, yeah, I'm actually, you know, talking to my team right now about the difference between training and developing, because they think that you could train for everything, and you can't train for everything, because some things take development. And the difference between training and development is that training is something short term. You're just helping them get to, you know, wherever they need to get to start or do the job efficiently, so they can kind of be creative on their own. But developing is a long-term investment. That's when you invest in somebody, you develop them, you help them in their character. You know, someone had somewhat of a peppered background. You help develop these people. The ones who don't have the skills that are really needed, you help develop them. Like if they lack communication skills, because if you lack simple communication skills, it's a little bit on you. You know, that takes a lot of work and it takes a long time, but you can help people develop. And when you help people develop, you better be sure that they're here for the long term. They better be a good person. If not a good person, you're trying to develop them, wow, get ready to get bit. You know, that saying where they said, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Well, when people are having an impoverished mind or broke, they will bite anything. It don't matter if it's feed, it don't matter. And I can't blame them. So choose your employees wisely, choose your help wisely. You know, they said, what is it? Hire slow, fire fast. Hire slow, fire fast. Get rid of these losers on your team, the ones who are anchors and weighing you down. Because, you know, the whole goal of you in the center of your business or your entrepreneurship, or whatever it is to empower those around you. I'm talking about empower your employees, empower your customers and your clients. You empower them to be better, because when you help them better, that brings growth. And what does growth bring? More opportunity. And more opportunity means that you can help even more people. So you got to focus on empowering the people around you when you're there, and especially when you're not there, giving them the power to be better, you know? So yeah, that wraps it. Look, on this next segment, we got a super great, juicy, wonderful conversation with my African comedian brother, Amanual Angoi. And this guy, hilarious, Super good conversation. He's super dark too. So I had to double up the lights on this one right here. But this guy, he's hilarious. He's my guy. You know, he's a young bull. And I can't wait for you to enjoy this conversation. And yeah, I will see you later. If there's anything you need, just holler at me. Love you. Peace out. Peace. Oh, what's going down? What's good, bro?
It's all good, man.
How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great, man.
Man, look, it's been a while because I've been waiting to, catch up with you. Mm-hmm. And it's been since last year that we actually been together. So if y'all don't know, this is one of my comedy boys.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedian, super hilarious. And it's been since when? Since like the last time we connected?
October of last year, before the pandemic really went to crap.
Yeah.
Like we literally talked the week before everything was shut down.
Yeah.
And we were like, is this gonna get crazy? And I was like, man, it ain't gonna be nothing. Mm-hmm. We ain't gonna do nothing. I promise you, it's gonna brush over. We African. We ain't gonna die from this. Boy, I was wrong.
Yeah,
I was dead wrong.
Yeah, so how have you been through the pandemic? Tell me, like, how has it been? I know.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. I lost 2 people within that year, but it wasn't like losing from the actual sickness. You already know. My grandmother passed away in February, and then my baby brother passed away in June. So I had to deal with all of that. And the pandemic was low key, not a blessing, but the quarantine helped me out through that situation. I got to have time to be able to be by myself and just reflect.
Was it so your grandmother in February and your little brother in June? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how's that affected you and your family? And
well, basically what happened was, like, for most of my family, it was such a shock because my grandmother, we expected it because she had terminal cancer, so we knew what to expect. And so my father left for Africa, and during the time that he left for Africa is when my brother passed away from diabetes. And that hit us up like a ton of bricks. Yeah. But after that, I just, it took some time, and it brought the family closer, and it brought us to like the family unit, the central of everybody. My brother was actually gone. He was in college at the time. But once we got back together, it just, it folded.
So people can understand a little bit, like, what is your family dynamic? How many brothers, sisters? Where are you from?
Oh yeah. I'm from South Sudan. I was born in North Sudan, but it used to be just Sudan. But, warlords and death and stuff like that. Yeah. People going down. But yeah, I learned my family unit is tight. Like that's all we've ever been. It's like my family. Like everyone is always tight. My parents preach that, and it's always been a central thing. Like I'm the oldest, technically. I do have a half sister, but yeah. So I've been basically the oldest, and I've been dealing with my brothers and sisters for a long time. So.
Oldest of how many?
Oldest of, now I had to think about it. That's how you know you got a lot of brothers and sisters, when you got to low-key think about it. But I got 2 sisters and 3 brothers. So I'm the oldest of 6. It really is me. Yeah. Technically, the second oldest of 7, but she's in Africa, so she was always with my what's called, not my stepmother, what would it be called?
Your mother-in-law. Stepmother? No, not stepmother.
Yeah, it'd be I'll just say stepmother. My stepmother.
So what brought y'all over here? But you were born in Sudan, right?
Yeah, I was born in Sudan in 95, But I lived in Sudan for about 4 years, but we just came over here because I always tell the joke, the whole Texas Walker Ranger thing. Like I watched the show when I was a kid, and my parents used to ask me, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? And I remember we watched like a play or something, and it was like about America. Like, yeah, America, the most amazing thing, right? And so I was like, let's go to America. And we got to choose between 2 places. It was like New York or Dallas. And, when I was in Egypt, I used to watch Texas Walker Ranger all the time. That was my favorite show because, like, bro, they had a brother with a cowboy boot and a cowboy hat. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be that brother right there. I'm going to be that dude right there. So I was like, bet. I want to go to Dallas, Texas. And we went to Dallas, Texas, and the first night that we dropped in the United States, it was snowing.
Wow.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
So you've never seen snow?
Never seen snow. So I was like, why is it so cold over here? And they were like, oh no, we're in New York. We're not in. I was like, thank God I chose Dallas, Texas. Because when I got to Texas, it was cool. I was like, good. Because I had some red pants on and a lime green shirt and some like blue shoes. Like it was the classic, coming to America. Like
fresh off the boat type. Yeah.
So it was one of those.
But you said when I was in Egypt, why were you in Egypt?
Oh, yeah, because like to transfer to the United States, right? My dad was in Egypt for a whole year, right? So my baby brother had never met my dad, right? In 99, because that's when he was born. But my dad was in Egypt trying to collect enough money so he can be able to take us to the United States and be able to get the visas and all that stuff. Because a lot of it has to do with, money, exchanging hands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my dad had to make a lot of money. And he had to do that by being by himself at that place and working hard.
Wow. So he actually went to Egypt, picked up a new job, tried to collect enough funds so he can make sure that you get you and all your family with the visas and everything like that. Yep. Wow.
And he got lucky too, because within like the first 4 months, he really wasn't getting the job that was necessary. And I think there was one point where he was talking to me, because I'm not very religious, but my father is a stern Christian. And he talked to me. He was like, son, there was a point where I didn't have work for 3 months. And I would just be at home. And one day I had enough. And I just said to God, I was like, hey, help me out. Like I need it. And he said within 4 hours, he gets a call from my uncle who tells him, hey, they have a job for you. It's going to pay a lot. And you're going to be able to do what you need to do. So he goes over there, applies, he gets it. And the rest is history. So
rest is history.
Rest is history.
Wow.
My dad worked out. You look at my dad, like he's a young dude. He was like in his 28, 29 at the time. He's doing his thing. He has 2 kids, right? And he hasn't seen one of his kids. Yeah. And so he works, he grinds for a whole year, gets us over there, right? We get over there, and the first thing that my dad does, he tries to pick up my brother. My brother slaps the crap out of him.
Wow. That's funny.
But that's the fighter that my brother is, Yeah. That's the way he is, so.
Which brother? You're the one right under you?
Yeah, the one right under me.
Wow. So tell me, like, do you feel like some type of pressure to perform and be great because of that?
Yes. That is our culture.
I bet, because, do you miss Sudan at all?
Yeah, man, I miss it a lot, man. I miss.
When's the last time you been? When's the last time?
I was there in 1998.
Okay, so shortly after you got here, you went back, and then you haven't been back.
No, I never been back home.
Oh, since you left?
Yeah, never been back home. My mom has been back. My dad has been back. Obviously from different situations, but I plan on going back this next December.
Oh wow,
yeah, that's the plan.
You want to make sure that you're all good and that you don't get trapped over there, right?
I'm good. I'm a grown man now, so we're good. Yeah. I have enough fun.
Yeah. So tell me, like, now that you're, people are caught up a little bit about like you and your family and all that. How's the dynamic while y'all are here? Like, is everyone good? Is it?
I have a bunch of overachieving brothers and sisters, so it's one of those things where I'm the oldest, but I'm like the least achieving in all of them. Yeah. So I mentored all these kids, right? I helped them out, did all these different things. But my little brother's in college football right now, right? He played for Grambling. He transferred to Florida. I forgot which Florida, but it's in Pensacola school, right? My other sister, she's playing basketball. She just won a state championship, and she just got all district. So she balling. Yeah. They both balling on 2 sports that I was horrible at, but it's all good though.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
6'2". Mm-hmm. So you could have been anything you really wanted to be.
I was lazy.
So that's what held you back.
Yeah, it's laziness. Like I didn't have a passion for I had a passion for it, but I had a passion for like the stats, the good parts of it. But I didn't want to go up at 5 a.m. and hit people. I'm just like, okay, nah.
What was it? What do you feel like once lazy, always lazy?
No. I think once you get something that like burns a fire in you and lights you up and you understand it more, it's a different thing.
What was that? What was that put a fire into you?
Comedy.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So when did you get introduced into comedy? Like how'd that start?
Comedy has always been in my life. Like first coming to America, you have to have something to release an outlet, right? Mm-hmm. So we had shows like The Simpsons, which I couldn't understand anything, but I could understand the physical humor.
Yeah.
Like Tom and Jerry, you can understand the physical humor. The Three Stooges, you can understand that. Like some of the vaudeville stuff, which was crazy that my young self was even watching this stuff, but I didn't realize it. So I would watch that. I would watch Popeye. And I would watch all these little things. until I got to the point where my English was good enough, and then I got like the Jamie Foxx show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and
Advanced.
Martin.
Okay.
And that's when it developed, and I was like, oh, I love this. This is amazing. I was like, in my head, I was like, I would want to be an actor, but I ain't never seen nobody that looked like me on stage like that. So I don't know. I can't tell my parents that. So I was like, I'm gonna be a pilot.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all.
Something they could be proud of.
Yeah, something they could be proud of. Because, you know, they ain't going to mess with it. You'll be like, oh, you trying to be an actor? You are trying to be an actor?
Yeah.
What are you going to act? Huh?
Yeah, so, but how'd you get your start into comedy?
Okay, so 2018, I think, was when I first watched my first stand-up show, and I said, I'm better than all these fools. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can do this. Took me a year.
You saw it in person or you saw it on TV?
I saw it in person. Mm-hmm. But no, I've already watched like a whole bunch of stand-up at this time. So for me, like obviously Patrice O'Neal, I got to watch Kevin Hart his second time over doing the circus, the All-Star Shack Comedy Jam and all that stuff. But I'd never been to a live show. So I never got to see just regular comedians grinding, trying to get to that next place, next level. Because I didn't know about it. Like, because like I remember you always say, it's like, I didn't know about open mic nights.
Yeah.
I knew about open mic nights, but I always just assumed it was just better veterans that were over there. You have to be better. You have to be grizzly. You have to know what you're doing. Like,
yeah.
But when I went up there, I saw it, and I was like, yeah, I'm better than these people. So I tried to heckle, right? But I said, first heckle was great. It was amazing. It hit. I was like, yeah, I know. I know that. The second one made me sound like I was special ed. Like,
oh, man.
I said something about Boy Scout, and the dude ripped me a new one, but it hit me. I was like, man, I could do better than that. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it next month. Next month. And then I just slowly weeded it out, you know, because I was being too much of a scared, you know, little whatever it is. But it hit me a year later because I was in the middle of like, I was kind of going in a fog because I was drinking a lot. I was going through it a lot at the time.
Like what?
And I was just, I was working a night shift job, right? And I was working 2 jobs at the time, and I was doing a lot. And like I felt like I was just making a lot of money, but I wasn't doing anything. Like I felt stuck.
Yeah.
I would get home, just buy a pack, and I would just drink, and that was it. I would go to work. I'd do my 2 jobs, and I would just make my money.
You felt like your life was passing you by.
It was depressing.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, you know, let me look up this comedy thing. Because I was like, I can't afford therapy. Might as well get on stage and talk crap, right?
Yeah.
And so I see it, and I see Backdoor Comedy. And I was like, okay, what is this? And I look at it, and I see it's a small venue. So in my head, I'm like, it's a small venue. You have nothing to worry about. Let's go. So I go, and they tell me I can't get on stage yet. And I bring my friend, Reem. She comes with me. And I was like, yeah, I can't get on stage yet, but I'll be back next week. So I come back next week, right? And I'm like, I can do this. I can really do this. So I come in, and I'm like, I'm scared. Uh-oh. Let me go give myself a little bit of drink and then come back out. But I got too much, right?
Too much to drink?
Yeah. And I get on stage, and I destroy. Like, you would think it would just be horrible. I just destroy. And I'm like, yeah, I do this, man. And it was clean, too. So for me, the whole time, I don't know how I was able to not do any jokes that got off. And then I was like, I can do this. I come back the next week. I do it again. 3rd week, I learned my lesson. I got humbled. Got humbled real quick. Because I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'm a pro at this. I ain't even got to write nothing down. I got this. Come on stage, you hear crickets. And that's when it hit me. There's a passion for it because I got knocked down. And I was like, oh, no, I ain't finna let this. Nah, I can't have my last time on stage be crap.
Yeah.
So the next time it hits me again. But then I got that adrenaline rush. And I'm like, okay, I need more. And so every single time it just got worse and worse and worse. This affliction of comedy was in me now. Like, there's no question. Like, I want to do this. So,
but isn't it like a crazy, it's almost like a disability to go up, you know what I mean? Go up in front of everybody, make a fool of yourself, try to make people laugh, strangers laugh, sometimes take the L, and then you just got to walk up and then you go do it again. Because, you know, if it's something that, you know, that's like different where you're like so good that you can't wait to get up because it's just natural, but it's literally the opposite where you're like nervous until you start speaking. You don't know if it's going to work. And then you keep doing this over and over and over. It's almost like you have to be a crazy person to like do this.
Oh, no, definitely. I think the crazy part about it is it's like I was naturally an introvert. So for me, making people laugh was always my defense mechanism, right? But being on stage is a whole different level. People think that like you get on stage and it's just like, yeah, if you're naturally funny, you're gonna be funny. No, I've learned that in comedy, you get less funny the more time that you're in comedy.
Yeah.
Just because you get to know the technicalities of everything. So
Yes.
It's like you break the screen.
Yeah.
You break the ideal of what a funny person is, and you're just like, damn.
Yeah, it's different.
I don't like it anymore. Like I just don't. I can't even do this. No
Yeah.
more. But when you watch somebody else's set, you're like, I don't want to watch their set. This might influence me in a different way. So I keep myself away from certain people. But when there's somebody that's a complete opposite of me or somebody that's just way different, I like to enjoy their comedy because that way I don't know the intricacies of like, I mean, I say intricacies. I can't even, what is the word?
Intricacies?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, the tongue is too strong. But yeah, I don't know the specific parts of their comedy because that's not my style.
Yeah.
So it's never going to affect me. I get to watch them and I get to enjoy comedy again. And that's why I love watching different kind of people in different ways that they deliver.
Do you have like a, they have something called like a mental model. Someone that, like if you do business, you say, oh, okay, I'm going to do business just like how Jeff Bezos, and you do the things they do. Do you have like a mental model of somebody in comedy that you look to and said, I want to do comedy like that person? Or is it that you just came in originally for yourself?
For me, it's obviously there's two people for me that always kill it. Like obviously it's Robin Williams. Like I really enjoy Robin Williams, but I can't deliver like the fast pace that Robin Williams does. Sometimes I might get into my bag and I'm like, oh, I feel amazing. I did a set that was rapid pace and killed. But no, I can't do it like Robin. Robin's one of a kind.
Yeah.
And then we got Patrice. Also.
Patrice O'Neal, man.
The king. Mm-hmm. Patrice for me taught me that I could just be myself 100%. I could be a big black dude on stage. And that's where I talked about like how actors, I've never seen an actor that looked like me, but I seen a comedian that looked like me.
Yeah.
It made sense. And so when I watched him, I was like, man, this dude, he can take a crowd and make them feel uncomfortable. And he loads it. He enjoys it. I said not loads it, but he enjoys like watching a group of people just feel, trapped.
Yeah.
But then he also brings it back with laughter, and he's like, yeah, I got y'all. I got y'all at the palm of my hands. I know what y'all thinking.
Yeah, he's really good with that tension, creating that tension and then that release. You know what I mean? And then you mentioned earlier about, the comedy that introduced you into it, which is like physical comedy. And they talked about, and by they, it's like it's an NPR study and like New York Times, whatever. They're talking about how basically slapstick physical comedy is the comedy that crosses over all barriers. This is the only one.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and that the physical comedy can never get old just because you could see it, and that's literally, it's like a hidden language. Like you don't have to speak the certain language. You could see what's so funny.
It's universal. Like it doesn't matter who you are. If you're Indian, if you're black, if you're white, if you're Hispanic, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Slapstick is amazing. Like a dude getting hit in the nuts. It's always gonna be funny. It's the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's always that.
Why is that? Why?
Because as a child, like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, I remember the first time I got hit in the nuts, and I think to myself, "Oh, that was hilarious."
Yeah.
But do I ever want to feel that pain again? No.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'll never be a sexist.
That's why.
That's why. Like 'cause I learned that women are strong.
Yeah.
In one area better than we have ever had.
Yeah. Women. They said like some women have told me that telling them that they're a strong like woman or a strong black woman is an insult.
It makes sense.
Why?
Because for black women specifically, like to tell a black woman you're a strong black woman is feeding into the stereotype that a black woman is innately more masculine and has more abilities physically than any other type of woman. And I hate that because like they always just shove it on black women to be able to take on the structures and take on things that they shouldn't be taking on in the first place. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And it's always the thing of like, oh, is the family structure the same? Black men don't love black women. But like, bruh, 80% of us are with black women.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The rest of us, okay, I understand. But that's what it is. It doesn't make any sense.
I understand it too now, you know what I mean? To say like, it's not a compliment.
It's not.
Because women are like, I hear it, but I don't feel good about it when men say, oh, like, I appreciate your strength. And they're like, but I don't want to be this strong. I have to be this strong. I don't want to though,
It's the scars. It's like anybody else that you see that has strength. Somebody that's stoic has to go through some BS to be at that level.
Yeah.
And if a woman has to go through that, that's a different level of struggle. And I've always noticed that. Like I peeped that with most women or most people that I've ever seen. It's like whenever they are strong, it means they've had the most pain. But they also are the most empathetic whenever you actually get to talk to them and get through with.
That's important. Yeah, empathy is important.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. Wow. So you're like you're still in that age. Cause look, I say by 28, 28's the age where you can't say, I don't do nothing with my life. Cause that's when people ask you,
Yeah.
you know, around 28, between 28 and like 32, people are going to ask you like, hey, what do you do? And you can't say, oh, I'm still at McDonald's. Cause be like, why are you still at McDonald's? You're 28, the type of thing, right? It's like, it's that 28, between 28 and 32 is like that time where you got to start getting things together. So you can really, right now, you can do whatever you want, make mistakes, and no one hold it against you.
I mean, kind of, because here's the thing. Remember, African parents, they don't play that BS.
Yeah.
They say 28 what, huh?
Yeah.
You're too old right now. You need to be a doctor right now. I got friends that are doctors, bro,
Yeah.
and it hurts. Because, like, here's the thing. My brother already graduated college, right? So he's getting his master's in engineering.
Here we go.
So you know.
Yeah.
He's already in his, I'm a good African bag.
Yeah.
My other sister doing her thing. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm not gonna comment on it, but I sound bitter when I say that.
You know, you don't
But
sound bitter.
I'm
You know, you
proud.
sound bitter.
Number one, I'm really proud because I'm like the older brother that I'm okay being the messed up brother in the family. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, but I'm a comedian. That's like, but that's what we do. Like,
Is it like this? Like they said, oh, you know, Emmanuel, screw up over here. Is that how?
it's nothing like that. They're just like Emmanuel lazy.
So they look at you as a lazy guy.
Yeah, because they know. They're like, all right, he has the gift of gab, but it's like, come on, you got to do something. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing this comedy thing. You got.
What do they think about you doing comedy?
My mom is like, it's perfect for you.
Yeah.
Because you have a silver tongue. This is the perfect thing for you. My dad now is like, why don't you just pursue acting?
Yeah.
So my dad's like, why don't you get into like theater and learn how to get into the technical side of everything? And I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. But I'm a narcissist. I want to be, well, I'm not really a narcissist, but I'm a narcissist in my head. I want to be in front of the camera.
So you like being in front of the camera, being the center of attention?
Yeah.
But you're an introvert.
Yeah, but I'm also an introvert. Yeah.
How's that work?
It works like I like to be in front of the camera one day out of the week, but the rest of the week you're not gonna catch me. Like
Yeah.
I'm at the house chilling or I'm doing something by myself at the gym. I don't want nobody around me. Get away from me.
Yeah.
But that 1 hour, yeah, it's me. It's all me. Everybody look at me, and that's it.
So your comedy has really grown through this pandemic. Like, how does that work for you?
Jesus. Yeah, the comedy. I've gotten lucky actually, really, because I found comedy in the pandemic, and I got to get connected with people that I wouldn't have gotten connected through without being in there. And one thing I've noticed is like throughout all the pain, I've gotten better from the pain. Like it's always been a thing of like, all right, I feel stressed out. I'm going through this. Let me just write. Let me go through the writing and let me learn something new. Like, and I've learned to write in the darkest spots and also the lightest spots, and it's always helped me.
What do you mean?
For example, like I have that joke about my grandmother that I always push out. And then at the end of the joke, it relieves it with a little bit less tension. And it's taught me that you can start off with a dark topic and make it better.
Yeah.
You can release, like you talk about Patrice releasing tension. I had to go through that pain to learn how to release tension. Did I want to? No. You never want to go through that pain. But once you do, you learn, all right, I actually do enjoy this. Like,
Yeah.
This is necessary for me. This is necessary for my comedic growth. This is necessary for me to know what I want to become as a comedian. Because I remember I had this conversation with you like the first time. I felt like my comedy didn't feel like it was real enough and it was genuine enough. You know, I was like, bro, I'm making these jokes, but I feel like I'm making a clown of myself. And then you were like, hey man, it's just going to take time. And you were completely right about it. It did take time.
Yeah, it takes time. Everything takes time.
It took time and pain.
Yeah.
A lot of time and pain.
Yeah.
And then once I went through that pain, I was like, all right, I can do this. I can really do this, man.
So within the pandemic, everything shut down, but pretty much you kept going. So what was that decision making?
I was like, bro, I'm single. I don't have any family around me. And like the risk of it is like, hey, I'm a healthy, relatively healthy 20-something-year-old. I can risk myself being out there without getting anybody else risk. And plus, at the time, I was okay. So I was doing a job where I was solitary. So it was not going to affect anybody except for the people who went and watched the shows and the people who were there. So it was kind of that thing of like, all right, let's just do it.
But didn't it create an advantage because while everyone was kind of gone, those who kept going pretty much like made deeper relationships with like the owners and deeper relationships with different like spots and mics and things like that, right? Is that kind of how it was?
Yeah, I mean, Not yes and no, because the spot still made you work for it. Like just because we think, oh yeah, it's a pandemic and we need you to work for us, doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily just automatically hire you. They have to see you prove and actually be funny.
Yeah, you still gotta be funny.
Yeah, but luckily for me, I'm still funny.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, you had to learn, and then I got connections, and I got to know people, and I got to know dope people like George Red Speaks. I got to know people like Zach Sprung. I got to know most of the Vatos Chisosos, all of those brothers. Like, and it was fun, and I got to be like my boy Diego. That's my dog right there. Like, he really put me underneath his wing and got me better.
Yeah.
George got me better. Zach got me better. They're like, hey man, just keep pursuing, keep pushing.
Better how?
Just better business wise. It's the same thing. That's why I go to you, because number one, the business is comedy. I remember you talking to Shuri about this. It was like the business of comedy is not what I'm good at. I'm good at, writing and being funny.
The creative part.
But the business part, it gets to me. So
Yeah.
I've learned that my weaknesses, I need to have my team around me. I need to have my people around me and have them deal with it and also teach me.
Yeah.
So that I can be confident on stage as I am confident in moving and doing business.
Wow, that's really good. That's mature of you to say.
Yeah, I'm learning now.
Yeah, and so right now that everything's opening back up in Texas, everything's kind of like
it's a gold mine, right?
Yeah.
Getting to the rush.
Yeah. So do you feel like it's back, or do you feel like it's still time will tell?
No, I feel like it's back. Like, honestly, I think it's going to get bigger and bigger throughout the time, because obviously Texas is becoming like the next spot, right? Because you got Joe moving to Austin. You got people like Chappelle being down there, and they're starting to realize that a state that gives you this kind of freedom, especially with comedy, is the best state to be in. And when they're doing that, I'm like, okay, I know it's good. I feel like this might be the Georgia of comedy, like Georgia is to film.
Yeah.
And if we're able to do that, then I have no problem. People will still be able to make a living just in Texas alone.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, I don't want to be bigger.
You think it's gonna happen? You think? Because I look at that as I already saw it happening. I saw how it happened in California, in LA especially. But then you see like the Dallas comedy scene, the Austin comedy scene. I'll say Houston somewhat. It's a little bit different. I don't really know anything about San Antonio like that.
Yeah. I mean, I know a little bit of San Antonio. San Antonio usually has some of us running off into them. So yeah, it's a pretty decent scene.
Yeah. Have you went out of state?
No, not yet. Not even close, brother. I'm a fetus in this.
Yeah, for real. It's still early in the game.
Yeah, I'm still way early in the game.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see people who are 10 years in the game and still struggling, but they have certain wins, and it still takes a lot of time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you look at people like Chappelle, who still takes L's, not as much now as he ever, because everything he says now is pretty much gold.
Yeah,
right?
Because I think Chappelle's at the same place. I've always said this. Chappelle's at a point where he's like Carlin. Like, he is a godfather of comedy. Once you become to that level, not a lot of people are going to be able to be like, oh, I need to challenge what you're saying. No, bro. He's done it. He's reached the mountaintop. Now we just need to learn from him and see what he knows and see where he's going with it. And I know it's not a bad thing to say, but I say Chappelle right now is the theoretical king, right, of comedy.
Yeah.
Like, he's gotten it. And then it goes to people who are like the business king, which would be Kevin. And then there are others who you put underneath as legends. And that's it. Like, the number one spot, I think, is Chappelle right now. But do I think Kevin is almost there? I mean, he could be.
Do you think Kevin's a legend?
Yeah, definitely. Like, a man to be able to do what he did, like, nah, Kevin's a legend.
Where did you think Kevin Hart's career start to take off? I have a theory.
Shaq, All-Star Comedy Jam.
Okay, that's what you felt.
Because I remember, like I told you, I got to watch that live and see what he did at that moment, and I was like, oh my God, this dude's different. Like,
yeah,
that skit where he talks about now you got to suck a titty on the table,
yeah,
or like Shaq, you got a picnic basket on. It was just stuff like that from that whole CD not CD. Was it a CD? Because it was like 2008.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
but that whole CD, you saw Kevin be Kevin and be the best comedian on that stage that night. And it was crazy because you had Ari Spears, you had, all those other people. You had Cedric the Entertainer, you had all those people on there. And I was like, no. He has something different. He is universal. It's something about him that makes everybody want to watch him and listen to him. Just because when you get that big, obviously your comedy is not going to be as specific anymore. You're going to get too large for your audience. But I think he took what Eddie was supposed to do and he just kept pushing.
I thought it was the Soul Plane.
But you remember after Soul Plane, what happened?
What?
He fell off for a little bit.
Yeah, but I know. But I remember everyone found out about Kevin Hart through the bootlegging of Soul Plane, because the bootlegging of Soul Plane came like 3 months after the movie came out.
Yeah.
And then
it was before.
No, the bootleg came out three months before the movie came out, and pretty much it bombed in the theater because everyone already saw it. You know what I mean? And then it helped make, like, everyone was talking about that particular movie. It was a classic. And Kevin Hart was like the lead actor. And then from that moment, I think people started to find out who Kevin is to even get to these different type of comedy, because no one knew he did stand up like that.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And then that's what started to open the door. That's what I think may happen for him.
You're right on that, but I remember Kevin talks about this. He was like, he thought Soul Plane was going to be his break, but afterwards he went down again because he wasn't getting booked for anything. He wasn't doing too much, and then he started to grind again because he talked about how he did what Dane Cook did, where he would go to the circuits and he would push and he would like give them his emails and all that stuff to contact him and keep these people on it. And he just kept pushing on the road, and he was getting so big, and that's when Shaq called him. And so I said, like, yeah, you're right. That was when everybody first got introduced to Kevin, but like it didn't blow him up.
Yeah.
What blew him up afterwards was when he did that, and he did, I think, Little Man or I'm a Grown Little Man, or which one was his first one?
His first
Like big one where everybody was like, oh, this is Kevin Hart.
I thought it was not the Laugh at My Pain, not that one.
No, Laugh at My Pain, I think it was his third one. But yeah, whichever one that was. But that's when I felt like
the first Netflix one?
Yeah.
The I want to actually look at this up. Hold on. Kevin Hart first stand up. But yeah, so what are you telling me about that?
Yeah, because if we're saying like Kevin was already on a national level, right? You gotta remember he was with Colin Quinn, Patrice, and all them in not the Man Show, but there was a show before that. It was like a verse.
Yeah, I'm a Grown Little Man.
Yeah. Grown Little Man was when I was like, oh, he got it.
Yeah,
he got it. He had it.
It was different for you.
It was different.
Yeah,
because then he started getting into movies, and once you get into movies, I don't think you have enough time to spend and meticulously create like a special. You can't. You don't have enough time on your hands.
Yeah.
Comedy requires you to physically be there with her. Like I feel like she's a female. You got to be able to take care of comedy, and comedy will take care of you.
Yeah.
It's a relationship.
Yeah.
That sucks, but it's a relationship.
Yeah, sometimes abusive, but yeah.
Very abusive.
Yeah. So basically, like, did you feel that Kevin Hart, because like he was almost like no one competed with him at that time because Dave Chappelle was gone.
Cat was going through what he was going through.
Yeah. So pretty much he was literally the only black comedian that was at that level, like
at that level.
Yeah.
I think, but all the other ones were just already too gone. Like I think Bernie was gone at that time.
Yeah.
What's his name wasn't doing comedy anymore. Any of the kings of comedy, and what's bald dude's name?
Thomas said the Entertainer?
Steve.
Oh, Steve Harvey, yeah.
Steve was no longer doing his thing. Cedric was Cedric, but it wasn't like they weren't pursuing things like they were. They were just like, I'm cool. Okay, I'm chilling. I'm doing comedy.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like,
yeah.
I'm not pursuing to the level that Kevin's pursuing, because Kevin's work ethic, it's like yours. I'm like, I look at y'all and I'm just like, nah.
Y'all is who?
Like there's just a certain innate like work ethic for certain people. Like for me, I love this comedy thing, right? But for me, even with like trying to write a script, it takes time. I relax on it. I'm not just gonna furiously just get into it and just pursue that and be one track minded and just go ham. For me, I gotta experience life for my comedy. Comedy comes from what I do.
Yeah.
But for y'all, it's just a certain work ethic where like I'm gonna get these things done and I'm gonna get them done no matter what.
Yeah,
I
it's true.
respect that.
Yeah.
Because it's a different type of level, because it's the same level headed thing that I see in like my brother, where when he played ball, he said, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it. And that was it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, I'm going to do it, but I got to find the way that makes the most sense for me.
Does that slow you down?
Makes me, yeah, hell yeah. So,
because you're overthinking in a way?
Yep. All automatically. Because it's the imposter syndrome. Because I don't feel like I deserve to even be anywhere near where I'm at. And I'm nowhere.
But you know what's crazy? You'll have imposter syndrome to the end.
Yeah.
Like no matter how great you are, because think about it, even wherever you're at, you're still above where you were before, and even others who are starting in the places that, like, some people have no idea, and yet you've been doing this for X amount of time, and then you still feel like I'm not there yet, and then you could sell out Madison Square Garden, and you can still feel like, man, maybe I'm falling off. You know, like there's this executive who, you know, get paid $30 million a year, high earner. He's like, you know, 40 something or 50 something, top of his game, always been the aggressive earner or whatever, right? And then, you know, he still feels like he could lose everything overnight. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like he doesn't feel comfortable yet because he's like, maybe they'll find out that I'm not as good as what they think I am. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's true because there are just times where like you're just not there creatively. You're like just not there. But then there are times where it's like a bipolar creativeness that you have to go through because there are times where you're just on your P's and Q's and you're in your bag and people are like, man, this is the best thing I've ever seen you do. And you're like, yeah, but can I do it again? Yeah. And then you do it again, but can I do it again? It's that kind of fear of like, when is it just going to stop?
Yeah, like when am I going to lose all my steam and I start going all the way down? You know what I'm saying? That's like a real fear, but it's somewhat irrational. You know what I mean?
It is, but it isn't because we've seen people who leave and come back and think that they could just get back on that same boat and it's never the same. Yeah. That's where I think comedy is a thing of like, you got to keep going. Always. You can't stop. Like RP to grandpa, but Boondock's grandfather, John Witherspoon, was a prime example of a brother who knew what he had and what he needed to do and kept doing it to the end. That's why I respected him so much because he said, I'm a comedian and I have to keep working because at the end of the day, I got to get to the paper. Yeah. And I respected that because he had a goal, he had a thing in mind, and he kept doing it until the day he passed because I will always do comedy forever. Like, if I never go anywhere further than what I've gotten right now, I don't give a damn. I'm still going to be doing comedy forever.
Actually, I respect that attitude because you shouldn't have any expectations. You should just do it and just keep going. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get in their own heads. And, you know, like I met a guy who said, yeah, I left and I came back and I left and I came back. Or another person who said, I never did this. I knew this. I know I could kill it. He actually went up, killed it, and then never came back again.
See, that's like those dudes that think, oh, I can just walk on and walk off in this song and I'll never do it again. I could have been a great comedian. No, you couldn't have. Yeah. It's like you doing one play, getting a touchdown in Pee Wee and be like, yeah, I could have went to the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. Come on now. Yeah, you see all this type of stuff. And he's like, that's why you have to come into it humble because it is something that you got to keep doing because it's about like getting those hours in. Are you familiar with the whole 10,000 hours?
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, you need them.
You feel that? You feel like you're working towards that? Yeah,
I'm working towards it. Because a year ago, me versus me right now, oh yeah, that boy getting smoked. But I like that. Because I want to work to where a year from now, I look back at myself on this podcast, I'm like, I would have killed that dude. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah. I want to challenge myself. Because I'm like, I remember somebody said, the only rivalry you have is with yourself, right? Yeah. And that's how it's supposed to be.
You're your only competition.
Yeah. And with comedy, I feel that. Because I'm like, yeah, I don't care about anybody else. I'm going against me, and I'm gonna beat me. Yeah. Pause. Yeah. I'm gonna be better than myself before.
But you know, a lot of people, you know, look. It's hard. This is one of my personal struggles when it comes to starting anything new. Is that okay? When you're new to it, people think that you should be as good as who their favorite is in it. In order to like see if like to even judge where you're at. So right. So like if you do, let's say just got into stand up, or let's say you just got into podcasting, they're gonna compare it to what their favorite is, you know, and it's like
it makes no sense.
You have to understand when you're new to something, you're not gonna be great. That's why I always talk about like support is different. When someone comes out with who's pursuing music, and next thing you know, like they're passing out their CD, and then someone's like, "Should I tell my friend that he sucks?" It's like, no, you know what I mean? Like just say, "Hey, just keep going." That's all you really need to say. Just because at the end of the day, you're going to have to get your time in order to even be decent to above decent. You know what I mean? But where you get pushback on that.
I think because, you know, the way that I grew up is like people going to tell you suck. And you got to get that thick skin, man. Yeah. Like, if you're pursuing anything, you got to know that people are going to tell you. My parents and my people around me were like, bro, you ain't going to do no damn comedy. Yeah. You suck. You ain't going to make nobody laugh. And then I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to prove y'all wrong. Because here's the thing. When I prove my people wrong and they finally flip over and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go watch you again. You were good. You were surprisingly good. You were great. I love that. Because that, number one, that puts tougher skin on you that your biggest critics are your family members. So there's nothing that anybody else can say that's going to hurt me. Yeah. So if you can't take that, that's on you, man. Like if somebody is pursuing something hard enough, you just telling them, hey, bro, this is not good, but you can improve on this and you can do better on this. That shouldn't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
If it hurts you, you're in the wrong place.
But I know I always look at it like, not that if it hurts you or not. I'm looking at it that, you know, when anyone around me starts something new, I am usually very careful or sensitive to that, the fact that they're brand new into something. So I'm always saying certain things that would either encourage them or just let them know to keep going. And they're like, oh, I never really hear that, right? Because usually people are like, all right, you just started, but it's not great. And they're like, you shouldn't be doing it because it's not great. But it's like, it takes time to be great. If that's something you want to do, like, and once people understand that, like, it does take time to be great, like, you're just not going to come into it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Hitting home runs. That's really what you, like, you had the insecurity, like, I got to hit home runs so my people or anybody around me doesn't say I suck at this. So you almost, in essence, do whatever, become desperate just to show that you're good at it. And then, you know, kind of takes you off your path. You know what I mean? But, you know, it depends on how you handle, you know, feedback, because some people either can or can't, you know?
Yeah, and I respect that. For people that can't, I always look at it like this, man. If you can't handle feedback, what's going to happen if you do get big enough and then one day you do a bad album or something, or you do a bad special? Is that going to break you? Like, if it breaks you, then that's a problem right there. You were never made for this in the first place. Like, something shouldn't break you just because everybody has a wrong opinion on it.
Yeah.
It takes time. Like,
but you see that, though. That's what, okay, you know Lloyd Banks, the rapper, right? Yeah. He actually hasn't returned to rap because he feels that no one's checking for him. And people, when they say, hey, man, you need to come out, you need to do this, he's like, ain't nobody checking for me, man. Ain't nobody showing me no love right now out here. And he stopped rapping because of, like, he just feels like he don't matter anymore.
And, you know, I know this is going to sound messed up, but I understand where he's coming from, because at a certain age, like, rappers don't feel the same anymore, right? Yeah. But I will say this: I am checking for that West Coast album that's gonna happen. What's the Mount West Coast with Snoop, E40, Too Short, and what's my name? Ice Cube.
Oh, I didn't know.
And I listened to that thing. I listened to the first song on it, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I want to listen to that.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a combination of all of them. Am I checking for them by themselves? I'm gonna keep that to myself. I ain't trying to have no beef.
But my bigger point is that, like, he quit because he stopped believing in himself,
and that's when you should quit.
That's when you should quit.
Yeah, because if you don't have any more faith in yourself, then to pursue something else. Like, there's a time when, like, for example, I remember watching, like, for example, Joe Budden, right? When he left music, like, he knew it was time for him to leave.
Yeah,
and he pursued something else, and he became successful in that. I respect somebody that does that, because there are certain times you got to realize, my cachet in this specific thing isn't the same anymore. I still can make music, right? But it's not going to work out anymore. You have to be a realist to yourself, and then you got to transfer into something new, because you can use whatever abilities that you did gain from that, or whatever fame, or whatever status that you got, and transfer it into something else, because you can always be able to do something. It's like Master P went from basketball to music to being a businessman to making ramen noodles. Man, ramen noodles smack though.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Just use your cachet to advance yourself, and just switch over.
But what kind of self-awareness does that require, though? You know what I mean? Because think about it. You could be stubbornly stuck into your, you know, I guess, I wouldn't know what to call it, but if you're somewhere where you don't feel like progress is happening, but yet you keep going, you know, like you say, like, if you're, you know, if I start rapping at 30, and I'm now 65. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At what moment should I say, you know what? Because, you know, it could be right before you quit, that a little bit after that you could have made it, right? Like, sometimes you might quit too early. So how do you know that there's a thing that, like, when you say, like, move on to something else, how does someone know to move on to something else?
Here's the thing. Just because you moved on to something else doesn't mean you quit doing what you love. Like, it doesn't mean that you quit making music. Like, you can still make music, but you have other ventures that are your main priority now. Like, I could still be making music and still be doing comedy. That's my main thing. I might make one track a week or one track a month or something, but I'm still doing what I used to love, and I'm still doing it. Because you never know when that might hit all of a sudden, and now you're back to doing what you're doing. You never give up on something that used to be a passion of yours. Make it your hobby while you're doing whatever is making you money at the time.
I see. So it's almost like, if it wasn't a passion for you or if it wasn't anything that you love like that, then you shouldn't be doing it anyways. But if it is and you're not that great at it, you can still continue doing it, but it doesn't have to be priority number one because you have to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
However that works for you, right?
Exactly.
That's interesting. That's a nice little take, bro.
Yeah, man. I don't personally believe that because, like, at the end of the day, like, everybody has a dream, but not everybody's dream is meant to be fulfilled. Your dream might be just there to prevent you from going insane. It might be there just to help you as a human being. That's it.
To help you go through something like a testimony, like that type of thing.
Yeah, it helps you go through trials because it's art. That's what art is. Art is an expression of like yourself. And a lot of artists, what do? They go through their art, and that's how they get through it. And I respect that. Like, if that's the way that you get through things, keep writing, keep doing your poetry, keep doing your thing, man. But you know what I'm saying? If you release an album and nobody will listen to it, screw it.
Yeah.
Like, at least you got a body of work out there.
Yeah.
Like, at least you got something that you put your heart into. And somebody might find it, and somebody will relate to it and be like, this is great. I don't know why other people don't rock with it. That's what hipsters are here for.
Yeah, but isn't that how you get a cult following, though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you keep going regardless, and you're the people who like support you for real, like the super fans are the ones who stay with you, and you kind of build that over time. But I guess it is dependent on what your goals are, right?
Yep.
So what are your goals? Like, what are your goals in life and in comedy?
My goals in life and in comedy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to pursue what I wanted to pursue when I was younger, where like I want to be able to make my own special and also make my own 10-episode series, and that is my goal. Once I'm able to do that, then we can see wherever it goes. But that's my main thing. Is I want to be able to write an anthology series that is based off of what I've experienced and what has happened around me. There's a lot of like iffy different things, and it's like such a great story that I think personally I need to put it on paper and push it.
Your story. Oh, you want to create like a? Have you written it, or is it you have it imagined as far as like your series that you want to come out with?
Yeah, I'm writing it right now.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so that's the focus right now. So.
Okay, and then you said also you want to do your own stand-up special.
Yeah.
Okay, like a Netflix thing or like an HBO type thing?
I don't give a damn who or what sees it. I'm doing my own special no matter what.
Oh, that's going to be great.
I don't care for like the views or anything else. I just want to be able to have my own body work that I'm like, this is funny, and I know it's funny. Screw everybody else.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
You do it. So you're doing this for yourself, not really for anybody else.
It's never for anybody else. But I do enjoy when people are like, man, that was funny. I enjoyed it. Thank you for helping me. I'm like, yeah, but it was for me.
Yeah. Has there ever been something that just caught you off guard that you didn't think was going to be funny or didn't think that was going to be good? And then next thing you know, everyone's like, I love that.
Yeah, and it's a pretty iffy bit. Like,
yeah,
it's one of my more terrifying bits. It's the delectable Negro bit that I do.
Delectable Negro bit.
Yeah, it's not as funny as you think it is.
Yeah.
People know the book, Delectable Negro. It is a horrible book, but it's basically I can't explain the book now. Now the pressure's on me. I'm like, I can't explain the book, but basically the joke is about cannibalism from white slave masters to their slaves. And then there's a little introduction that I do about certain things about savagery. Don't worry. Yeah. You can't explain the bit of it.
But tell me, is it something that you did that you got unexpected results?
Oh, yeah. It was one of those things where I was making it and I was like, man, this would be kind of funny. But I also wanted to educate the crowd and be like, hey, man, maybe you should read this book and see what the brutality was really like.
Yeah.
Get something, inform yourself a little bit. And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, man, I'm starting to write from my own experiences of like reading things and being like, oh my God, this is wow.
Yeah.
But it's also gotten me better from it. So like I have a genocide joke and I have, this is getting bad, but I have jokes about, going back home. I have jokes about an iPhone and like how this is an amazing product made by little children mining shit.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty messed up, but it's like, you got to be appreciative of what it is, but you got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Like we are, like when people talk about like, Star Wars and all that shit, we're the evil empire, man.
Do you like who we, what do you mean we are the evil empire?
Oh, the Western world.
Oh, the Western world? You feel that? You feel that?
All of that. Come on.
I feel so too though.
Like France, the United States, England, like come on.
Yeah, but what do you think? Do we move on from history or do we try to correct what has been done in the past?
Here's the problem. How are you going to correct a machine that's already going this fast one direction? Like it's already moving. The train is going one way, right? there are people that are trying to, right? And we hope that we can be able to make sure that like Africa and South America are able to regain their own autonomy. But are they going to let that happen?
I don't think so. I mean, it's really interesting because, you know, if you talk about the transatlantic slavery, sub-Saharan slavery, all the different type of colonialism, you know, chattel slavery. I mean, there's so many levels of like, you know, attempted world domination.
Yep.
And you always wonder like, how do you undo all this? You know?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if we're going to get into like a political conversation about like, is it capitalism that's causing all this stuff? Is it just trying to push the machine of making more profit and not looking for advancing humanity? That might be the thing, you know.
Is that what you think that is? That when people talk about capitalism, like the only way for you to be successful is at the expense of others?
I think it's human greed. Yeah. I think personally, yeah. Like, for me to sit here and act like I'm not a part of it, that would be BS of me. Because I never pretend like my hands are not bloodied. Even though I did come here from a country, I got lucky, man.
Yeah.
I'm part of the 1%, man. I got here, man.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah. I'm sorry, fam, but I'm here now.
Yeah.
So you can call me when.
Do people got problems with you? Like, do you feel like people got problems with you being here?
In America?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm too charming.
Oh, that's great. You know, because if you ever go on like Clubhouse or certain rooms, they talk about like, you know, I feel like, you know, Africans come to America and steal jobs from black people. What do you say to that?
It's jobs that a lot of people don't want.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest with ourselves. A lot of the jobs that people specifically speak on are like factory jobs, and a lot of jobs that people can still go to this day. Like, Texas is so plentiful. I could just go to a job right now. I could quit my job today and have a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Yeah.
If you really are saying that they took your job specifically that you were talking about, shut up. You can go do that job right now.
Yeah. Or even let's talk about the jobs that are being created. You know what I mean? Like, you talk about that too, you know? So there's all different type of levels to it. But, you know, so as far as what your focus is strictly in comedy, trying to get into acting. You plan on staying in Texas? Or you plan on moving to LA? Or you plan on trying to?
I'm planning on staying in Texas. I'm going to be in Dallas probably for another year, and then go down to Austin, and then see what Austin is like for a year, and then if I have to move to,
You gonna move to Austin for a little bit?
yeah, probably move in there for like a year or so. Come back to Dallas every weekend or so, and just make sure that I'm still in both areas and be able to.
Help me understand this move. So you want to kind of like create some type of platform in Austin while it's like bubbling right now.
Yeah. And I'll be able to make just genuine connections, because from like for example, our connections, right? We would never have had the connection if we never had a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where I'm best at, is human connection and genuine conversation. That's where I succeed at.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, internet wise, okay, you might be okay at some of the things, and I love the internet for what it is, because I think it's such a beautiful bubble that's going on right now. Same thing with the internet. I think the internet has caused all this like moving and stuff to be obsolete, kind of. Yeah. But knowing that physically I could be on stage and somebody that I see at a different level to me can come talk to me and be like, "Oh, you did great." And I'd be like, "Cool." There's a sense of validation there that I'm like, okay, I achieved that. Now let me move on and do what I need to do.
Yeah. What do you think about the investment though on doing comedy online versus in person? You know, like, is it something that you think that online could replace in person, or you think there's two different places?
I think you need both. I think you definitely need both, and also I think online helps you prevent you from getting stuff stolen from you. And that's what I've seen that's a negative of being just live all the time, is somebody might be able to be like, "Oh yeah, that joke was great."
Yeah.
Time for me to take a little bit of this, break it off.
Yeah.
Because this is my joke now.
Yeah.
And you're just like, "Oh my God, I made that joke." But for me, it's also the same thing. If somebody steals my joke, I'm like, I got like 15 of them.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap.
You've heard someone take yours?
I've heard certain people getting their stuff taken. I'm not gonna say myself specifically.
Yeah.
Because, I'm not that kind of person. I don't like to be like, "Oh yeah, this person stole my joke." But people do that, and it's always like, "Damn, wow,
yeah,
they really did that."
That's crazy. That's do you consider that theft, or you think that's not that big of a deal?
For me, it's not that big a deal, because I know I'm talented. Yeah, I do this. Like, this is what I like. This is gonna make me sound really cocky, but I know I'm a good comedian. So for me, I'll make another one of those. Will you make one?
Yeah,
That's the question. Like, come on.
Wow, that's the right energy.
That's how I look at it, man. Because like, bro, keep playing me. I promise you, when I'm above you and I look back and I'm like, remember when you did this, dog? Well, I'm gonna hire you on this show. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna make sure you understand how much better I am than you are.
That's hard.
That's it. That's dead serious.
Yeah.
Dead serious. It's not a play. It's not a game for me, but it is. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that.
So what do you got coming up next?
I do have a show coming up. It should be in mid. What day is it today? Today is April. It's April.
Yeah, April.
It should be March 15th to 14th. You know, should be doing hyenas, but
you say March. It's April 18th.
Okay, so next month is March, right?
No,
May 15th.
Yeah.
May 15th to 14th should be at.
we'll edit that out. I'm playing.
Bro, these months is going by with this pandemic, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been working hard, working real hard.
Yeah. So you say you got a show coming in April?
Yeah, 15th. So 15th to 14th. I'll get the exact dates, and you know, it'll be what it was. You know,
Anything that you're struggling with that you need help with?
currently, mainly I've just been struggling with, you know, keeping myself centered. You know, I think I've had this conversation with my dad the other day, and he was talking about when I'm going back to Africa and stuff like that. It's like kind of understanding where I'm at and why I do what I do. Because when I was younger, I used to have a crazy fire like what you had.
Yeah.
And it's trying to get myself to that point. Is making the habits and learning the habits that are necessary for me, you know, and getting better. Breaking the bad ones, bringing in the good ones, and just doing that. Because at a certain point, I have to be at that level. Just because I'm talented at doing comedy, which I'm not blowing my own horn or do anything like that, but it's like I got to get better.
Yeah.
And that little bit of energy and that little bit of pushing and pursuing that, I need that.
Yeah.
I got to get that.
So you're trying to create that habit that keeps you going because is it that you don't feel motivated sometimes?
Yeah, man. Look, mental health is a weird fucking thing. I mean,
Yeah.
weird thing, man. Mental health is a struggle, man.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that bag, like it's like good, and it's really just really about my health. You know,
Yeah.
obviously I almost died last week, so it's one of those things.
How?
Yeah, it was. I was laying in bed, right, and I'm just chilling, and all of a sudden, like I felt like my heart palpitating. I was like, oh my god, am I dying?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I went to the kitchen, and then my dad was like, "Are you good?" He was like, "Are you all right?" And I sit down, and my dad looks at me. He's like, "Do you need me to call a doctor?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." And I'm like, about 5 minutes in, call the doctor.
Oh man.
So the ambulance comes in, right, and then they check my blood pressure, and they're like, "You good? It's just you have like something of elevated high blood pressure." He was like, were you moving? What were you doing? I was like, yeah, man, I was drinking for a couple of days. You know, I was doing all these different things. I was partying, and I had just come back from a comedy show, and they were like, yeah, you got to lose some weight.
You got to lose some weight.
That's it.
Yeah.
Basically, it was like, you're just fat.
Yeah.
That's how it hit me, and I was like, oh, God, okay, you're right. Okay, I need to lose some weight.
Man, I gained like 10 pounds from the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And man, it's such a pain to try to like get up and get back active and stay active. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been a runner? Like you wake up in the morning and say, man, I want to go take a run.
For about a month.
And then what? It faded away?
Never again. Never again.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Being a big dude, I was always playing football in the morning. So like for me, it was like that. But I was active, and I would do like at least a mile a day. And that was about it, you know. But nah, I can't do that. Especially at this weight.
Yeah.
Like I got to get down to like when I was like 220. Right now I'm at 315 right now. Yeah,
You trying to get back down to 220?
yeah, I got to get back down.
Wow, that quarantine really hit. Yeah,
The Twinkies, man.
yeah,
like,
for real.
Look, man, look. When you Netflix and just enjoying yourself, and look, man, it happens.
That's why can't life be like that, where you just like do whatever you want to do, right? Like it has to be where you have to have, like I always say things like freedom with limits, right? Mm-hmm. Like you could do whatever you want, but you have to have limits, because if you don't put limits on it, that's when all the badness, comes out. And I feel like, man, if I could just lay down and stay the same, or stay lazy and still get the same production out of it, but you got to wake up every morning and
Wasn't working out.
get at it, you know?
It was one of those things because I felt like, oh, finally I don't have to deal with people. And so I started being reclusive and didn't go to the gym like I needed to, because I started to realize, oh, damn, me at 250, I felt way healthier than I am at 300. And then me at 225, I felt like a different human being. Like literally another human being is on top of me right now.
Oh, you feel like that? Like Oh, it is kind of like that. But don't. Okay, when someone, but see, it look like it kind of fits you. You know what I mean? Like if you were like 5'7" and 300, then it wouldn't.
It wouldn't work.
You know, it'd be everywhere. You could see it everywhere.
Double
But when you're
chin,
anywhere, when you're above 6 foot, it kind of spreads. You know what I mean?
It
Pause.
spreads, but unluckily for me, it goes to the ass. Like, like when you a man with ass, it don't work out like that.
A man with hips.
Like, yeah,
Man. So you gotta buy Fashion Nova jeans.
Oh no, it's stretchy. It's stretchy because the hips is tight. But like, yeah.
So you gotta find different type of jeans that fit you right because your body type is so off.
Athletic fit.
Athletic fit
Because they have a little bit of stretch to it.
You got it down to a science.
Yeah, it's a science, man. Because like when you're a big dude your whole life, you got to know what jeans that you need to wear.
Yeah,
what jeans look good on you. People are like, oh my god, you look so good. No, this was work.
This was work.
This is work.
Yeah.
This is not. It just doesn't come together.
So you have like fitness goals that you're trying to.
Oh hell yeah. Look, I'm back on my old grind. Like, luckily for me, I got a voice like my brother Juju, and I got a voice like my boy Chris. They get on my ass.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, bro, I can see your double chin. Come on, let's get this.
So they really trying to keep you accountable.
No, they keep me accountable because luckily for me, it's like I have athletes all around me, so I can't play games. Like when my little sister beat me over this pandemic, it was my spirit got crushed. I learned a lesson at that point because I was like, man, she might be 5'11", but like, come on, she's a junior in high school. You can't be losing to a junior in high school.
Yeah,
basketball thing. Come on, you play varsity ball. Come on, what are you doing? I'm like, yo, it's like a past pelvis just shaking his head like, God damn, what happened to you, man? Jesus.
You look yourself in the mirror. You know that one where you look yourself in the mirror like, get back to it.
I'm just looking at myself. I'm like, yeah, it was you and me, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on, we got this. And then I'll be out there working out, and I'm just like, I can't do it like I used to. Like, you try to go in and try to lift like you used to and go in and try to run like you used to. No, you're trying.
That's how you break things.
Yep.
You know, people say, oh, I remember, like, they'll hit the weights in a certain way, or they'll start running. Like, you know, someone will say, hey, let's race. Thinking that there's used to be as fast as they used to be, break the ankle, tumble over.
You tearing an ACL. Like I tried to race my sister, right? I heard that tweak. I said, "Nah, I'm good." This
heard that
working.
pop.
No, this all good, man. Look,
Yeah.
I still want my knee intact. I just seen the PCL, MCL in there.
And the hospital's expensive, bro.
Look,
Especially now.
You telling me, man? I know. I'm not messing with them hospital bills. It's a different thing. Again, another point. Like where we're just talking about politics. Come on, the people need healthcare, man.
Yeah, they do, man. Anything last you want to share to the people, man?
No, I mean, outside of that, I mean, we had a great one. Appreciate this. Thank you for being here, and it was enjoyable, brother.
Hey, this is fun, bro. Very fun. Hey, look, can't wait for the part 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now that people get to know you a little bit. You know what I mean? But thanks for coming through.
Appreciate that, man.
And we'll see y'all later. And peace out.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Alaikum salam.
And remember to get off the couch and go do something. Peace.